Okay, so let's hear it for Dan Bricklin. Woo!
I was dancing in a wedding and I got a dancer's fracture. Hopefully the camera is aimed right. I'm a last minute addition because I wasn't sure I was going to be here. My daughter Rachel is due to deliver in 10 days. So, Bisha Tova. Many of you know me as the person who invented VisiCalc, that early electronic spreadsheet. But what many of you may not know is what happened was my company was the author of VisiCalc, and we had a publisher that published it, and we ended up, after a few years, in a horrible lawsuit between the two of us, the two companies, which eventually was fatal to both companies. And we were in the midst of this lawsuit in June of 1984. And I was out traveling around trying to raise money, trying to sell our product, publicize what we were doing, and I was traveling around the country. I was in New York, stuck in hotel rooms, and I was out in California one day, and I'd been back and forth on telephone calls, and found out that financially we were doing really poorly, and we're going to have to lay off half the company. And I had to come back on the red eye that night, and the next morning we would lay off half the company. So I got on the red eye to come back. Now, I don't know how many of you have been on that side. If you're running a business, the hardest thing is when you do layoffs. It is, it's hard to be laid off too on the other side, but it's, we would have somebody would come in and say, hey, you're supposed to bring in a few people one at a time maybe to tell them. And the guy says, hi, it's my birthday, and guess what? I brought my kid in with me. Can he come in the meeting with me? Oh, God. No, we think it's best if you leave him out. Friends of yours who have life-threatening illnesses and are on your health care and you have to lay them off, and you're working with the insurance company, very close relatives, that it's really a tough thing. And people ask, what was it like? How did you get through that? And while I was on the road, that was June of 1984. How many of you remember the Celtics in June of 1980? Of course you don't, because those that would aren't here tonight, right? Or else you would. That was when they played the Lakers, and they pulled it out in 7 games. It was really tough. And I would sit there and, what? Yeah. And I would, because I remember being in my hotel room and watching them do the comeback, and it was really, so that was really inspiring. As I came back the red eye, you come in at 7 in the morning. So I'm coming in at 7 in the morning. I have another employee with me who, he didn't know why I told him, but he had to come back with it. He was going to find out soon. And we're walking down the jetway, and those were the days before TSA. And you walk down the jetway, and you can see at the end, there's some other people there because people could come. When you come in from California, there are all these people who come in, or flying in from Japan, and then they get into San Francisco, and then they fly on the red eyes from San Francisco like we were doing, and they come in and they're, yay, we haven't seen you in 20 years and stuff like that. I go, what crazy people show up like that? And as I walk out there and I come out and I look, and there's my wife Carol, 8 months pregnant with Adina, and she's holding Rachel. And on Rachel's head is a Celtics cap. And that's when I realized how important it is to have friends and relatives that are with you through the good times and through the bad. Thank you.
How high this thing is. Woo. I'm glad she hasn't given birth yet. Bisha Atova. Great story.